How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator for the Golden Age, and this is another episode of
Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
Yes, this is Lost Heroes of the Golden Age, and I am a little confused about the hero that we're covering.
Doing the second Black Cobra.
Oh, gee, thanks for that. I honestly forgot who we were doing.
That's what I'm here for.
Lord. Okay. We are doing the second Black Cobra, and I'm a little confused about all of it, honestly. I don't know why they decided to bring back the Black Cobra and completely reinvent him. I don't understand the consistency of his powers. Since there's no origin story for him, which is very common in the Golden Age, a lot of times you'll just get into the stories and the heroes are just there. And then you figure out who they are and what they can do based on the story, usually the introduction, first appearance that you're reading. The consistency of him wavers as I'm reading it. I don't know whether he actually possesses powers or not, because they make him seem like he's normally powered, but in the seventh story, there's 9 in total, he breaks out of his bonds and automatically changes over to the Black Cobra when we had every indication that he wears his costume under his civilian identity, which is common for heroes, but in the 7th issue, it looked like he just had a transformation, which is completely unexplained and not talked about. I don't have a problem with heroes having powers after doing what there's got to be at least 200 Golden Age heroes. They weren't all titled under this format. I've covered all sorts of heroes, ones that transform from transformations with tech, powers, electricity, radiation, or just being regular non-powers, but they've all been consistent. The inconsistency on this hero is a little maddening, and why they decided to reinvent someone they already had and not only bring him back but completely change who he is didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So, I mean, Ajax-Farrell, you got a lot of heroes, a lot of stuff that I find slightly interesting, but I don't know if they had different writers for the issues, but there's a lot of inconsistency in this. So let's go ahead and cover the Black Cobra, and I'm just gonna go over a number of the things I've noticed while reading the 9 issues, and one of the issues is actually a reprint of the original, which didn't make a whole lot of sense of why they reprinted the issue, and I'll go over why. But there's just, I mean, as the hero itself, I don't find the concept annoying in any way. I mean, it's slightly interesting. It's just the inconsistencies, just, Anyways, let's go ahead and cover this Lost Heroes of the Golden Age with the Black Cobra. The Black Cobra, Steve Drake, first appeared in Black Cobra Comics #1 in 1954. The publisher is Ajax-Farrell and created by L.B. Cole. There is some weird inconsistencies that I want to cover. The first about Black Cobra. He doesn't seem to have any powers, which doesn't make sense to what I was reading in some of these issues, because it does seem like he possesses a bit of strength. And not to a superhuman degree, but an enhanced level. And the way he changes his costumes is, in the first appearance, they show that he has his costume on under his civilian clothing, which is pretty common for heroes. I mean, Spider-Man did that all the time, and Captain America to a degree. But in the 7th issue, he's in a civilian clothing identity. He's tied up by bonds, and in the very next panel, it shows, he says he needs to change into the Black Cobra. So he says as the Black Cobra, he breaks the bonds. He's suddenly in his costume without us seeing him make the change in any way. So it looked like he transformed over, which is inconsistent to the other stories we had seen up until that point. So the Black Cobra has 3 comics, 9 appearances, 4 in the first, 3 in the second, and of course 2 in the very last one. And in the last issue, I don't think he assumes his civilian identity, but they still reference that he does have one. So he does dress a lot differently than the first incarnation, and it's got to be a different guy because it's a different name attached to it. He is a FBI agent in his civilian identity, and then he changes over into the Black Cobra. So he finds out what he needs to do as the FBI agent, and then as the Black Cobra, he goes and solves the crimes. Now, in this costume, which is different from the very first Black Cobra, who dresses as a snake, he dresses more like a secret agent, or a secret agent superhero. He's got the entire blue jumpsuit with orange cuffs on his wrists, the orange belt, and orange boots, and of course the domino mask, which is very common. Now, in the very first cover appearance, they show him having orange trunks. But in the entire 9 stories, he only has one time where he has the orange trunks, and it's in one of the reprints of the original Black Cobra comics. So they took one of the original stories and they recolored it to this, what we have here, where they introduced the Cobra Kid, where in the original Black Cobra, the Cobra Kid is the younger brother. In this, he is not given an identity, and he only appears for one of the 9 stories. So why they decided to bring the story over didn't make any sense, because they made 8 other stories that not only does not involve the Cobra Kid, which isn't any retrade of the other stories. So this wasn't necessary. They could have made an entirely new story. And the Cobra Kid, it is a 1-for-1. Now, they put more, it was like with the Torpedo Man, they put more text and they say more stuff, so there's more of a story there, but it's a direct 1-for-1, so, I mean, it really didn't need to be done. He is they show him being a brilliant inventor. He has this speedy car, and we see the car a couple of times, but the car only shows his high-tech gadgets in the first issue. And he also has these suction cups on his shoes so he can walk down the side of the wall to make it look more like a snake. But he only uses that once, too. So they talk about him being a brilliant inventor, but we only see his inventions like one time. Now, something that is not mentioned is that he is also a pilot. Now, whether he is a flying ace or an expert aviator, they don't say. But we do see 2 instances of him flying the plane. Now, as the Black Cobra, he's not a vigilante wanted by the cops. The cops and the people around the whole city, everybody knows who the Black Cobra is, and they know that he goes after bad guys. And there's no consistent bad guys that he goes over. Russian spies, Moscow spies, evil scientists, pirates. I mean, that's just it. There's a cavalcade of people that he goes through. There is no main overarching villain, and there's no consistency to whoever he goes after. It's whatever the FBI needs him to do. Now, It seems like he works very close with his girlfriend, who appears in a few of the stories, but not every one. And like I said, without the origin story, there's no power consistency. I mean, when you come up with a hero, you create his origin, you establish his powers in the first issue, and then you make the rest of the stories based off of that. And if you're going to change him, like making him super strong or super durable, there needs to be a reason behind it. When you just change things over, you're going to annoy the reader because they don't know what you did, why you did it, and then if you don't follow it in the other issues where the fact that he was so strong he was able to break bonds doesn't appear in the last two stories, it's really, really frustrating for the reader. Another one of his inventions, he has a bulletproof suit that's made out of a rubber composite. And that is brought up in a number of issues. So that's probably the only invention that follows through. It's able to take bullets, and he even says that a bazooka wouldn't be able to get through his suit. Now, in one issue, they did see him getting shot by a tank that some, I think it was fifth colonists, there are no Nazis, this is 1955, some fifth colonists were taking, and the bullet, the shell from the tank, hit his body armor and knocked him down, and he said it packed quite a punch. But he said it's a good thing that the shell didn't explode because my bulletproof suit wouldn't have stopped the explosion. So it's like, good thing it's a dud. This thing wouldn't have, the explosion probably would have done me in. There's only one time that he gets knocked out and captured, and he two times. 7th and 8th story. But it's really quick. He breaks out almost immediately, and then he saves the day. So I want to say he's your typical non-power superhero, but there are instances where he shows powers, but there's no explanation, and they don't say why. So let's go ahead and cover the first issue, and then you can see what they were going with before they start adding in slight changes with the other issues. Just a few things I want to mention quickly before we get into the first appearance. I forgot to mention what kind of pants he's wearing. It's the kind that you normally see aviators wearing back then. I believe they're called joppers, where they come out like halfway through before they sink back in again. And something interesting, and even though he is the featured cover and the featured story for all three issues, they don't put the Black Cobra at the beginning of the story, which was common for heroes back then. In the very last issue, both of them lead in with saying the Black Cobra. But it doesn't happen in the first two issues, which is rather unusual. Because usually when heroes are introduced, they're introduced with the name and a splash page. So the fact that they don't do it in the first two issues is, for the first 7 stories, is, well, actually one story did it, but it was the Black Cobra and it wasn't an introduction, it was part of the title. So it was kind of unusual that they did that. Alright, let's get with the first appearance. A spy smasher! The cold and cunning men in the Kremlin were worried, and they had reason to be. For out of nowhere, like a scourge of evil, came a man who was more than a match for the Red Tyrants. His strength was as great as theirs, his guile even greater, and he made unrelenting war on the power-crazed clique who schemed to crush the world beneath the blood-stained boots. The story begins in Washington, D.C. as the Black Cobra battles the voice of treason. Now, as much as I don't have a problem with this splash page, it doesn't say the Black Cobra or have a by named. That is very unusual. Even in the 50s, with the splash page, you have the title of the story. Now, I understand it's his comic, but even in his comic, it should have said the Black Cobra. I am actually very surprised that they didn't start with that. In the offices of the FBI in Washington, a man watches a teletype machine type out a message. So, he actually works with his woman, which is also an unusual thing for well, it might have been more common in the 50s, but definitely in the Golden Age, usually the civilian identity of the hero didn't work along with his love interest. What is it? What is it, Steve? Something important? You seem very interested. Could be, Debbie. A tip from one of our agents in Europe. I'm sort of hoping the old man will let me work on it. So, as he is reading this, Steve reads the message. An inscrutable smile touches his lips. To the casual observer and even to the close friends, he is a rather nice-looking, normally intelligent young man, but what would they do? What they do not know is that he is the Black Cobra. That's an interesting way to describe him. Okay, so a tip comes into the FBI office, and they wonder whether they should give it to Steve. And the director says, yeah, just go ahead and let them know about the tips that we have coming in. So this guy, not sure what his position is, goes to Steve and asks him if he wants to go in on the case. And he's like, sure, I'll take it. But this angers his, I'm going to go with girlfriend? I guess we could say partner? I'm not sure. I don't think they're married. So he's like, oh, so it's my case. But later, she starts yelling at them. I suppose this means our dinner date is off again. This is the third time this week. But Debbie, a job is a job. I can't help it. You can help it if you wanted to. If you weren't such a spineless jellyfish and let them push you around like a tackling dummy. This is a very strange hat that she's wearing. So she leaves, and then he goes and follows the tip. Now to get to work. If the FBI only knew what I planted that tip myself. So he called in the own tip that he was placed on to go investigate this. So he got himself assigned to this. It's weird. Okay, so he goes to his home and he gets out his supercar and he starts driving down the street. I love this one panel as this supercar speeds through the streets. Hey, look, the Black Cobra. Gee, I sure feel sorry for someone. Okay. So he's going to the house of Adam Cleve, who is a voice of America. Yeah, if you listen to radio, you know basically what that's trying to say. But anyways, he wants to go and talk to him about his broadcasts and how secret messages may be getting out. So as he vaults into the house, a dead man, and it looks like Adam Cleve. This is a development I certainly didn't expect. So as he is investigating a dead body, he hears that Adam Cleve is getting ready to do his broadcast over the radio. He's like, and now the Voice of America presents the distinguished commentator Adam Cleve. Mr. Cleve, will you speak a moment? What? Adam Cleve broadcasting? But he's here, dead on the floor. This needs looking into. I love how you just casually mention, hey, there's a dead body on the floor. So he gets over to the broadcasting area and he wants to stop the broadcast. And instead of explaining rationally what he needs them to do, he starts smashing the equipment and beating up the technicians. I'm like, how is this the best logical course for you? Don't flip the off switch, just destroy everything. Sorry, boys, but this broadcast can't go on. What do you mean, Black Cobra? I mean, like, what happens after you stop this guy? How are they supposed to broadcast anything else if you destroy all the equipment? This is really stupid and short-sighted. So he destroys the equipment, incapacitates the guy, and then he goes up to the studio. Now the Black Cobra dashes up to the broadcasting booth to find out who's impersonating the dead man. That's all you needed to do. You didn't have to destroy the equipment. You could have gone straight to the recording booth. I mean, I hope nobody needs to hear the radio broadcast for a while because you just destroyed all the equipment. And then here's a random guy. The Black Cobra here. And now the Black Cobra gets the shock of his life. That announcer, it's Cleve. Or someone made to look like Cleve. It's the Black Cobra. So as he busts in, the fake Adam Cleve starts shooting him. Fill you full of lead, you meddling fool. The bullets are just bouncing off. Yes, comrade, the plastic suit is my own invention. A machine gun couldn't dent it. A freaking tank cell couldn't dent it. What are you talking about? Okay, so he grabs this girl that's next to him and points the gun to the head as, get her to back off. Get back, Cobra. Back, or I'll blow her brains out. So he's keeping his distance, as you would, because he doesn't want the girl to get harmed. And he grabs this ladder. Why is there a ladder in the studio broadcasting booth that leads to the roof? I can't even begin to find the logic behind that. Where are you going to be in a situation where you need to get to the roof from the studio? That absolutely makes no sense. If they went out into the hallway and then backed up to a ladder, that would make more sense. This is stupid. And nobody is going to be putting an escape ladder that leads to the roof inside the broadcasting studio, because that's not what the studio is made for. Okay, he backs up to the ladder. Go ahead, punk. Climb that ladder if you want, but don't think you'll get away. Maybe your plastic suit will block a bullet, Cobra, but your head won't, and now you'll get it. You see, that's very smart, because the minute it bounced off the suit, my immediate thought, even though I'm not a criminal, was aim for his head. His plastic suit doesn't cover his head. Wrong again, Buster. You're a rotten shot. Okay. I mean, the first 4 bullets hit you dead, right in the chest. So obviously he's a rotten shot because, the first 4 bullets hit you. I mean, if he was a rotten shot, he wouldn't have even known that the bullets bounced off. That's a stupid sentence. You could have cut that whole thing out. It was completely unnecessary. So the spy breaks for the roof and he gets to the edge. You can't get away, you fool. Better surrender and take your medicine. That's what you think. I'm not going to rot in your filthy capitalistic prisons. I've never heard it called that before, but okay. As he gets close, he says, "You won't jump and sacrifice yourself. Your kind never does." And as he gets to the edge, he actually jumps. Goodbye, Cobra. This is the one time you've been outwitted. And as he's falling, we see him pull the ripcord, and he has a parachute. Now, I was a paratrooper in the military. I know how long it takes for a chute to deploy. He's dead. There is not enough distance from the top of the roof to the ground. Okay, I'm assuming, I'm looking at the buildings that are surrounding this here, and it can't be more than 5 floors. I mean, you go from this page, and you go to the next couple of panels, it looks like a 5-story building, and he doesn't even pull the ripcord right away. You can see that he is fallen some distance before he pulls it. That chute will not fully deploy before he hits the ground. So he might not actually be dead. It will pull and probably stop some resistance. But he has broken both of his legs, because there is not enough time for the chute to deploy to stop his descent enough so that he can land on the ground safely. I would think that I know a little bit about parachutes because I jumped out of airplanes 800 feet in the air. I know how much distance that you need for a chute to deploy. A 5-story building is not tall enough. Not even in the 50s. I mean, if you want to go at least maybe 6 to 7 stories, he's still not going to have enough time for the chute to open up he's at least broken his legs if he's not a dead man. Okay, this miniature quick opening parachute, there's no such thing. It's just a thing for escapes like this. I'd like to see the look on the Black Cobra's face. Yeah, no, I don't care how quick opening you are. The chute needs to fully deploy and the air to get under there to stop your descent. I don't care how fast your parachute opens. You're not going to slow down enough that you're not going to injure yourself majorly in some way on this. Clever, these Reds. A parachute built right into his clothes. Yeah, I don't think so. There was no indication that he had a parachute. I thought he looked sort of well padded. Only I put it down to blubber. Okay, I'll let the fact that he didn't notice it go, but that's ridiculous. So as he parachutes to the ground, the Black Cobra starts to run down the side of the building. But the Black Cobra knows a trick or two of his own. His turn to be fooled now. These suction cups on my boots were built for just this sort of thing. I haven't used them for a long time, but now, and you don't use them after the story at all. And you can see him riding down the building. I mean, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we see, possibly 6 stories. I'm not going with it being higher than a 6-story building. He runs down and he sees the guy try to get into his car. Haha, this is rich. I'll get away in the Black Cobra's own car. This whole world will be laughing at him after this. Good, the keys are in the ignition. Now I'll get out of here and report to my superiors. Afraid I didn't accomplish my mission, but there's always another time for that. And as he's getting ready to start the car, a cop comes up and gets ready to shoot the guy, and he goes like, don't do it. And he tries to start the car, and then handcuffs and straps come out and subdue him. Later, as the spy is taken away, a little invention of my own, officer. Anyone who starts the car without flipping the hidden release lever first is nabbed by handcuffs. So he gets taken away, and then he reports back to his superiors what was going on. Adam Cleve must have rebelled, sir. He refused to broadcast any more coded information, so the Red Agent killed him and impersonated him. They wanted this particular information badly. And they tell Drake that he's done a good job. And still later, as Steve returns to his office, Debbie, what on earth are you doing here at this hour? I couldn't stay angry with you, Steve. Well, of course not, because he's the hero. So let's go ahead and read the last 2 panels. So I dropped past on the chance that you would be around. Now you can take me to dinner after all. And hurry, I'm starving to death. You solved this crime awful quickly. And by now, the papers are on the streets. Evening Star, Black Cobra, right? Oh, it's cut off, so I couldn't read that. Strikes again. This just happened today. They're going out on a date today. There is no way a story is printed in the amount. That's not how newspapers work. It doesn't even say the next day. I know it says, and by now the papers are on the streets, but you're indicating this is in the same day. You would. Well, maybe someday. Or, here we go. Listen to that boy, Steve. Now there's a man. I would really like to meet the Black Cobra. You would, huh? Well, maybe someday. You'll never know in this world. The classic girlfriend falling in love with their superhero identity while still being with the civilian version. That's classic Golden Age trope. But still, they don't say it's the next day. There's no way that this newspaper was printed fast enough. Anyways, that's the first appearance. Okay, well, that does it for this one. You can see how I saw a lot of inconsistencies. I got more heroes in the pipeline. Something interesting coming up on the next one. So until then, I'll be seeing you.